Hey ladies, welcome to episode number 10. I am going to be sharing with you my number one conversation hack. Yeah, there's a lot of focus here on talking to our kids, but this applies to anyone you are in conversation with. So let's dive in. You are listening to the Women Living Better podcast with certified health and life coach and your host, Jennifer D'Amato. Well, hello again. I'm so glad you're here. I am sitting super comfy, got myself some really nice cushioning for this closet of mine where I sit and talk to you all every week. And I have to say, it's helping a lot. I mean, I am 40 now, right? So everyone tells you things shift when you turn 40, your body's just not the same. And I would definitely say there's a little truth to that. I cannot sit on the floor without being sore anymore. I mean, come on now. Kids can do it, could do it in my 20s. 30s wasn't so bad, and here I am. I mean, I'm like 40 and a handful of days here, let's be honest. And yet, sitting on this floor, it's hurting the tushy, but I'm here. Got a nice cushion, got some pillows, I've got my notes, I've got my slippers on the side because the weather has gotten cool enough for my slippers to be worn on a regular basis, and here we are. Speaking of birthdays, which I did have mine, I also share my birthday month with my second born, and she turned 13 this year. Why is that significant? Because I have two teenagers in my house. Yep, that's where we are now. I can remember having them be two toddlers in my house. And here we are, two teenagers. My husband and I both sat there the other day on her birthday, like, what happened? How is this possible? We're smart people. We know how time goes. And I talk about time on here all the time because it's going so fast. But really, we did sit down and just have a moment. I think partly because raising her was really difficult when she was a toddler. I mean, I jokingly say, and she knows this, if she ever heard this, she'd laugh right along with it because she knows I seriously questioned if she'd make it past 2 years old. She was that toddler. It was so hard. And I had had one daughter before her. It was nothing like raising her. It was definitely a different ball game. I mean, she climbed on everything, ran around, ran into the street, ran away from us. I mean, you'd never know it meeting her at 13, but I tell you what, I lost my crap on a regular basis when she was younger. There's proof of it. I mean, you talk to anyone that was around then and they will tell you, yeah, that was a difficult season. But here we are. I have four daughters, and two of them are teenagers. And it's really a shift in parenting that's had to happen. It has really changed how we speak to them. It's been this evolving process since they were about 10, right? That whole tween age, which wasn't a term we ever used when I was a tween. But that 10-year-old difference, from when they're little kids to shifting to that double digits, there just is a change that happens. For them, yes, we notice that. But there has to be a change for us as parents in how we communicate with them. And more, I'm noticing that I'm not talking as much. I'm quieter because my job right now, I feel like, is to listen. Now, I know you might be listening right now and want to tune this podcast out if you're not a parent or you don't have teenagers yet and you're thinking, will this apply to me? And I just want you to stick with me because I believe very strongly that what I want to share with you today really can apply to a lot of areas, to many relationships in our life, to wherever you are, whatever season it is, whether there are teenagers or toddlers in your life, whether there's no one little that you're responsible for. Maybe you just have a really close relationship, you have a spouse. I really do believe what I'm going to teach right here today. It's something I actually teach my clients in my health coaching, life coaching practice that I see works so well as a parent and as a spouse. So let's dive into it. So, like I was saying, I notice that the way I communicate with my kids had to change as they've gotten older. And I've had this conversation with other parents that notice this struggle. So picture this scenario. Maybe it's, you're picking your kiddo up from school and driving them home, or they're home and you get home from work. And what do you ask? Well, you ask your kids, well, how did your day go? How was your day at school? And what's the response? 99% of the time, it's fine. And it's not even, it went fine, my day was fine. They just say one word answer, fine. Conversation over. I did it even start? And what are you left doing? Sigh. Done. You thought maybe you'd get something that day. You maybe even leave that conversation feeling a little defeated because you got this one word answer, fine, which to you is the signal of, I'm done talking. Maybe you found yourself in an identical conversation with your spouse. How was your day, sweetie? Fine. Bigger sigh. Conversation over. So, what I want to do is give you this tool. I do teach this to my clients. I use this as a parent. I use this in so many relationships and conversations. It's a shift that I believe will change things for conversations for you. So, I'd start every session with my clients with this question. I don't ask them, oh, how did your week go since we last spoke? No, because most likely they're going to be like, oh, it went good. Oh, it was fine. I'm going to be in that same place. I don't ask that because it doesn't actually get them to what I want them thinking about. What I want them thinking about is what went well for them. Because here's the thing, we focus on most of the time what didn't go well. That is human nature. And that's human nature for your kids, for your spouse, for yourself, for your friend, for whoever you're talking to, is we're going to spend time focusing on what didn't go our way. Maybe you actually have found yourself in that place that your kid maybe didn't say fine, but then they told you all the crap and this assignment didn't go well and I forgot to hand that in and so fought with me and I argued with this and it's just you left feeling defeated even if they had just said fine. You feel the same way. So the question is, what went well this week? That's what I ask my clients. What went well today? It's a total shift in focus because now the answer can't be fine. Oh, it was good. No, what went well this week? They actually have to do a whole different brain process because now they have to evaluate their day and find something that went well to be able to answer you. I can remember the first time that I taught this to a client and her daughter, I want to say she was raising a 16-year-old at the time. And she was in this place of just feeling defeated every single time she asked her how her day was and getting nowhere and the conversation being over. And I said, okay, so we do this in our sessions together. Why don't you try it with her? When you pick her up from school and you're driving her, why don't you ask her what went well today? So she took this with her throughout the week and she tried this practice. And when she came back to our session the next week, she was giddy. I'm not talking just like, oh, it went well, to ask her what went well. I mean, giddy, excited because she actually heard things from her daughter she wouldn't have heard otherwise. And she didn't hear the stuff that generally we hear, what didn't go well, how it didn't work out the way they wanted it to, and how they're upset with this person, and this teacher makes them mad. And it was the things that went well. And when her daughter had to find those things, what happened was in a course of a week is she knew her mom was going to ask her this question, so she had to start thinking ahead of time of things that went well. So therefore, it shifted her daughter's attitude, her daughter's focus into things that were going well. Think about this for a minute. It changed the way her daughter evaluated her day. I know this happens with my clients. These are grown-ups. These are, women and men 20 and up. I mean, these are not kids in high school, right? Going through the thick of it. They are adults who make this shift. It's possible. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter if it's your little toddler cutie patootie there, if it's your elementary age school kid, middle schoolers who most likely can't think of things that are good on the regular basis, or our high schoolers. It is a shift for everyone, and your spouse too. Instead of, how was your day? Fine, it was good. And most likely the conversation ends. What if you ask them what went well? Here's the thing, and I'm totally sidetracking myself here. Here's the thing, because I get so excited, is my clients would show up each week knowing I was going to ask that question. And just like my client's teenage daughter, who had to start thinking, okay, mom's going to ask me, I want to think of things that went well to tell her, because I know I have to be prepared for that. My clients would do the same thing. They would start going, okay, Jen's going to ask me this question, so I want to start thinking of some things to tell her. And I would say at the beginning of our time together, they'd come up with, one thing that went well. Well, weeks into our work together, they would show up and tell me, a couple of things that went well. And I thought we were ready to move on. They're like, oh, wait, I forgot another one. And all of a sudden they're pouring over to tell me things that went well. And it's not just their health. They tell me things that went well, anywhere from their personal life, with work, with, parenting, kids stuff, whatever it was, including things they're working on specifically for their health and their goals that they've made. No matter what, though, it shifted their focus not to sit there and go, well, I didn't totally do this, or this project or work didn't go well. It was only things that went well. It's amazing. And I, like my client who started feeling giddy that her daughter would say all these things and come up with more and more things each day to tell her, I feel that same giddiness when my clients do it. So imagine if you put this into practice. Maybe you don't describe yourself as someone who gets giddy. Maybe that's just me. But imagine what it would feel like to be in the conversation where you get to hear what went well, where you know that you're having an impact of taking your kiddos from feeling like the world's against them, the teacher doesn't like them, I have to this homework, this assignment, instead to lifting their energy up to the things that are going well for them. Now, it doesn't negate the discussion of, I have this assignment, or I didn't do well on that, or I have this to do and that, it doesn't negate that. It doesn't negate your spouse saying, this didn't go well at work today, like I didn't get this project done, or my boss was a jerk today, whatever. It doesn't negate that. But what it does is shifts our focus specifically to the positive. There's amazing things that happen, chemicals that are released in our brain, in our body when we do this. There's power behind this exercise right here. So what if you did this and you just spent 1 week asking this question to your kiddos, to your spouse, to someone you're in conversation with, you notice maybe it's just very negative all the time, and all you do is plant that question. Hey, so what went well with you today? Or what went well with that project? What went well in that class? What went well with the presentation? All you're doing is shifting the language, but it's changing something in the response because it's changing something in the way they're evaluating their answer. It's amazing. I believe it's powerful. I believe it's so, so powerful. There's also a piece of acknowledgement that can happen here. There's gratitude that can happen here. There's connection that can happen here. So ask the question, what went well? What went well today? Instead of, how was your day? How was work? And see what happens. Be sure to listen to the response and be patient, because when you first make this shift, they're probably going to look at you like, I don't know. All right, I'll give some space for that. All right, well, think about what went well today. And when you come up with something, come tell me. I want to hear what went well for you today. Remember, you've never asked this question. They may be surprised by it. They may not be prepared for it. Don't give up. Commit to the week of asking this question and see what happens. I love this exercise. I love this practice. I love this question. If you love it too, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how this works for you and how you see the shift in relationship and in communication with your loved ones that you are using this question. Thanks for the feedback. Hey guys, leave a response here. Let me know if you're loving this podcast as much as I'm loving sharing it with you. Until next time. Hey ladies, want to connect with me outside of this podcast? Well, come follow along on Instagram at Jennifer_health coach for life. That's Jennifer_health coach, the number 4, LIFE. Or on Facebook at Jennifer Coach, the number 4, life. Are you ready to take your health, physical and mental health, to the next level? Maybe it's weight loss. Maybe it's reducing stress. Maybe it's just support and accountability like you've never had before. I'm offering a free discovery session to you when you visit my website, www.healthcoachforlife.com. That's www.healthcoach4life.com. Just click Request Discovery Session and let's connect. For any questions about the podcast or to submit a question or topic you'd like discussed, you can email me at womenlivingbetterpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, keep living better each day.